Caitlin Clark hate has now burned up Christine Brennan. Christine Brennan, the USA Today columnist, she's a peer of mine. Christine Brennan is in the crosshairs of the WNBA. They've put out a statement calling for her to be punished for asking a legitimate question of honey Dijonai Carrington. Legitimate question about the biggest star in the WNBA's history leaves game one of her first playoff game with a black eye.
Have you heard about the latest drama in the WNBA? Caitlin Clark is at the center of a media storm, and it's not just about her skills on the court. Players are blackballing a reporter over questions about Clark. What's going on here? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's talk about Clark's impact first. She's been lighting up the court, breaking records left and right. In her debut game, she put up 19 points and 8 assists. That's insane for a rookie. She's bringing in fans and making the WNBA more exciting than ever. But guys, it's not just about her skills. There's some serious drama going down off the court. You won't believe this.
Christine Brennan, she's a peer of mine. Been a journalist forever. Been working at the USA Today forever. She's one of the most respected people in journalism. These are legitimate questions that any journalist should be asking. And the WNBA puts out a statement trashing Christine Brennan. This is what you do in journalism. She didn't say, hey, I know you hit Dijonai, I know you hit her in the eye on purpose. Explain to me why you did it.
WNBA players are actually blackballing a reporter over questions about Clark. Can you believe that? It's like the whole league is in an uproar. This isn't just about one player or one reporter. It's about the future of women's basketball and how we talk about it. Imagine this. The way we discuss the WNBA could change forever because of this drama. That's how big this is. Now, picture this. A post-game interview turns into a PR nightmare for the entire league. How did a single reporter's question manage to cross so many lines that the WNBA itself had to step in? It all started with Christine Brennan, a veteran sports journalist, asking what seemed like a straightforward question to honey Dijonai Carrington. But that question, it lit a fuse that's still burning through the WNBA.
What could be more exhausting than the WNBA and this group of entitled, coddled, pampered? How dare someone ask honey Dijonai a question? Don't you understand that they are the modern day Jesus Christ of America? Black women, the Yas queens, hear them roar, all because they hate this little white girl, and now they hate Christine Brennan, who is an ally to the WNBA and all these female athletes and has been for nearly 40 years.
So what was this explosive question? Brennan asked Carrington if she intentionally hit Caitlin Clark in the eye during a playoff game. Sounds simple enough, right? But the WNBA didn't see it that way. They came out swinging, accusing Brennan of trying to bait Carrington into a narrative that's way bigger than basketball. The league didn't hold back. They called Brennan's question unprofessional and said it was fueling racism, homophobia, and misogyny. Can you believe that? A single question in a post-game interview suddenly became about so much more than just what happened on the court.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark all year. Ever be the biggest star in American sports was assaulted 2 minutes into the game on a dirty play with one of these women with these long fake fingernails that stabbed her in the eye. But damn it, in the first 2 minutes of this game, this Dijonai Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye.
But here's the thing. Some people are saying Brennan's question was totally fair game. I mean, we're talking about an incident involving Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest stars in the game right now. Shouldn't reporters be able to ask about that? The WNBA doesn't think so. They're saying Brennan crossed a line. Big time. They're accusing her of lacking integrity and objectivity. It's like they're saying she's not just a bad journalist, but that she's actively trying to hurt the league and its players. This whole mess is shining a spotlight on the relationship between media and players in women's sports. It's complicated, to say the least. On one hand, you've got reporters trying to do their job, asking tough questions and getting the story. On the other, you've got players in leagues who feel like they're constantly fighting against unfair treatment and biased coverage.
The fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijonai Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye. Dijonai has a history with Caitlin Clark, like many of these girls in the WNBA, but she's at the top of the list along with Kennedy Carter in Chicago and Angel Reese. That's not a natural act of you contest a shot and then all of a sudden your hand turns downwards and straight into the eye of the biggest star in the WNBA.
And caught in the middle of all this, Caitlin Clark. She's not just changing how the game is played on the court, she's changing how people talk about it off the court too, and not everyone's happy about that. Think about it, Clark's bringing in more fans, more viewers, more attention to the WNBA than ever before. But with all that attention comes scrutiny. Every move she makes, every word she says, it's all under a microscope. Even the questions reporters ask about her are causing controversy. This isn't just about one player or one reporter anymore. It's about the future of women's basketball and how we talk about it. The way the WNBA handled this situation could change the rules of engagement between players and media for years to come. So what do you think? Was the WNBA right to come down so hard on Brennan? Or are they overreacting to a legitimate question? It's not an easy call to make, but one thing's for sure. This controversy is forcing everyone involved in women's basketball to take a hard look at how they handle tough situations. You know what's crazy? While all this media drama is going down, Caitlin Clark is out there changing the game in ways nobody expected. But here's the real question. Is all this attention good or bad for women's basketball? Let's talk about Clark's impact on the WNBA. She's not just breaking records on the court.
Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark League. And that's what a lot of players and coaches said about Caitlin Clark and about the rookie class coming into the league, is that that was going to be something that they would need to adjust to. They would need to adjust to the physicality of this league. So there have been cheap shots, there have been hard fouls, there have been other plays that haven't even been called flagrant fouls. But when you have the face of your league getting nearly 20% of all flagrant fouls called against her, that is an issue.
She's bringing in fans like never before. Attendance is up, viewership is skyrocketing, and suddenly everyone's talking about women's basketball. It's like Clark hit a reset button on the whole league. But guys, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Clark's getting some serious heat on the court. Get this, 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA this season were against her. That's insane for a rookie. Rebecca Lobo, one of the greats, said she's never seen a rookie defended like this. It's like the other players are gunning for her. So what's going on here? Some people say Clark's getting targeted because she's so popular. Others think it's just jealousy. Dick Vitale, you know, the basketball guru, he's not happy about it. He said, the treatment that Caitlin Clark has been getting is not basketball. Those guilty must be suspended and fined heavily.
Dijonai Carrington stabbing Caitlin Clark in the eye, intentionally, in my view, with her fingernail. Surely the corporate media that cares so much about racial equity and racial justice is going to be all over this.
That's some strong words. But it's not just about how she's treated on the court. Clark's presence is forcing the league to deal with some big issues. We're talking race, representation, and how the media covers women's sport. It's like Clark accidentally opened Pandora's box just by being so good at basketball. Gino Auriemma, the legendary coach, he made an interesting point. He said, I don't remember when Michael Jordan came into the league, guys looking to go out and beat him up. That's got people thinking about how we treat our stars in different sports. And then there's the race angle. angle. Ellen Starowski pointed out that Clark, who's white, is getting treated differently than her black teammate. That's adding a whole new layer to the conversation about race in sports. It's not just about what happens on the court anymore. Rebecca Lobo dropped another truth bomb. She said, Caitlin is not the best player in the league, but is Caitlin the most popular? Without question. That's the thing about Clark. She's not just a player, she's a phenomenon.
And so I just assume that all the social justice, racial justice warrior people would be up in arms and be like, hey, we got to call balls and strikes here. Caitlin Clark has made this league relevant, and this deranged bigot, and I say that in all sincerity.
And that's causing some tension in the league. But here's something to think about. Serena Williams, yeah, the tennis legend, she thinks all this negativity is just jealousy. She said, and no matter what other people do, if people are negative, then it's because they can't do what you do. Maybe Serena's onto something there. Martina Navratilova, another sports icon, she's looking at the big picture. She said, Caitlin Clark is helping all of them, now and in the long run. Caitlin is the tide that will raise all boats. That's a pretty positive way to look at it, right? Hold up. While we're celebrating Clark's impact, there's trouble brewing behind the scenes. A suspended reporter, a commissioner under fire, and players speaking out. It's like the WNBA hit a growth spurt overnight, and now nobody knows how to act. Are we witnessing the birth of a new era in sports journalism, or the death of the old one? Let's talk about Greg Doyle, a reporter for the Indianapolis Star. He got himself into hot water during Caitlin Clark's first press conference with the Indiana Fever. Picture this. Doyle forms a heart with his hand, and Clark's just sitting there confused. Then he drops this line, "Start doing it to me, and we'll get along just fine." Yikes, right? That comment landed him a 2-week suspension. Doyle realized he messed up big time. He called his behavior uniquely oafish and apologized for crossing a line.
Not calling some of these fouls and not cracking down on some of these cheap shots and hard fouls that are so excessive, not only against Caitlin Clark, but against other players as well. People to be more excited in players other than Caitlin Clark. People want to see a fast-paced, high-scoring, long-range shooting game from these women. People should know right off the bat, shouldn't be the first round of the playoffs, that players think that they can still do this kind of thing to Caitlin Clark, to Angel Reese.
He said, "What I've learned is that I need to be more aware about how I talk to people, not just athletes." It's like he forgot he was talking to a pro athlete, not a high school kid. But Doyle's not the only one in hot water. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's got some explaining to do too. She made some comments about fan racism in the Caitlin Clark-Angel Reese rivalry that didn't sit well with players or the league's union. Instead of shutting down the racist and misogynistic stuff, she kinda danced around it. The WNBPA Executive Director, Terry Jackson, wasn't having it. She came out swinging, saying there's absolutely no place in sport or in life for the vile hate, racist language, homophobic comments, and the misogynistic attacks our players are facing on social media. That's telling it like it is. So what's the deal here? Why are reporters and league officials tripping over themselves? It's like everyone's forgotten how to act around women athletes. We need reporters who can ask tough questions without being jerked. But where's that line? Think about it. How do we talk about sports fairly? It's not just about Caitlin Clark or the WNBA anymore.
Superstars are going to get a special whistle, and they should get a special whistle, protecting their one superstar who brought in more eyeballs than anyone else has ever done in the league. She should have a special whistle. Calls like this should be made, should be reviewed, because at the end of the day, it's not just the sport, it's the entertainment of the sport, and you need to protect your superstars. And the WNBA has not done well this entire season.
This is bigger than basketball. It's about treating athletes with respect, no matter who they are or where they come from. Imagine a world where reporters can ask hard-hitting questions without making players uncomfortable, where commissioners can address serious issues head-on, where players feel respected both on and off the court. That's the kind of WNBA we should be aiming for, right? But here's the thing. Getting there isn't easy. It means changing how we think about sports journalism. It means holding people accountable when they mess up, like with Doyle and Engelbert. But it also means giving people a chance to learn and do better. This whole mess is forcing everyone to take a hard look at how we cover women's sport. Are we asking the right questions? Are we treating all players fairly? Or are we just looking for the next big headline, no matter who gets hurt in the process? The way we talk about sports matters. It shapes how fans see the game, how players feel about their careers, and how the next generation of athletes views their future. So when reporters and officials mess up, it's not just a PR problem. It's a sign that something needs to change in the whole system. All right, let's talk about where women's basketball is heading. We've got some serious issues to deal with: how the media treats players, fairness on the court, and who gets the spotlight. It's like the WNBA is going through growing pains, and everyone's trying to figure out how to handle it. But here's the thing: if we can fix these problems, the WNBA could be better than ever. Imagine a league where every player gets treated with respect, both on and off the court, where reporters ask tough questions without being jerks, where fans can enjoy the game without all the drama. So, what do you think? How can we make women's basketball better for everyone? It's not just about Caitlin Clark or any one player. It's about creating a league that's fair, exciting, and respected. That's the kind of WNBA we all want to see, right?